Hi everyone, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us again on an exceptional interview, the exceptional show, the daily show. Today I've got a great friend of mine, extraordinary entrepreneur that I've got to know over the last year and a half. Raghmah, she's the founder of Vortex Design Solutions. Her portfolio is extensive. Some of her clients that she's worked with is ShowMax, it's Visa, it's Lamborghini. So you're in for a treat. We're going to talk everything design, interior design. So Raghmah, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us, making some time to be on our show.
Thank you, Francois.
Raghmah, Vortex Design Solutions. Just describe a little bit, what does your business do?
So we like to describe ourselves as brand architects. We like to first come in and get to know our clients and actually learn how they work. So we like to know, what does the CEO like to do? Does he like to play golf 70% of the time, work with his people 30% of the time? What does HR do? Do they like to be more with the people, be more in the office? And as we get to know them and spend more time with them, then we slowly start to understand, how does this let us do our job properly? Because space planning is a little more than putting desks on a page. It's actually understanding how do people interact, what's the best workflow, who mustn't walk past whose desk, instead of just where do you get to go every day, because it's your space, it's where you spend 8 hours of your day. And when we really spend time getting that right and learning who our clients are, that's when we start getting space planning right, and then basically getting to know the landlords and their buildings, what is building compliance, and all of your national building regulations. That's something that we study on a daily basis. And then bringing the two together, basically merging the best landlords with the best clients. And when you put those two together, finding synergies and business relationships so that happy people can stay in buildings for the longest time period. So basically, at the core of our business, we put people together and give them a beautiful space in between.
Wow, that sounds so interesting and so creative, putting all of these projects, all of these people together. Why is it important to have a feel-good office space to work in?
So one of the things is that people forget when they are even looking at office space is that productivity after you've moved in is one of the biggest things that is essential to your business. So you're going to need to have the right airflow. You're going to need to have the right light on the screen. Something like your chair being comfortable, or even something like the height of the screen between people, if it's too high or if it's too low, if it's the right color, all these little factors. People have done studies over years about it. And something as simple as, is my desk too big or is it too small? These are things we study and people's habits all the time. So it's so essential that we get it right, so that you can keep maximum output from all of your people. They can stay smiling, and your business will thrive.
So I'm a business owner. I've got the office. What are 5 things that or entrepreneurs can do to make their office more energetic and more productive? 5
simple things. So definitely the first thing people always look at is storage. If you've got everything stored in just the right place, so that's something as simple as the type of work that you do. Someone who's in HR has different storage to someone who's in IT. If it's at hand, they don't have to get up from their desk every time and walk to get something, come back, and it's right there when they need it. Lighting. So we've got different lighting specifications for different types of environments. People in an IT environment have low light levels because they sit there for 8 hours a day. People who are creative have highlighting, exciting colors on the walls. They need to be stimulated. They've got different patterns on the walls because it needs to be bright and exciting. So storage and lighting, those are 2 very important things. Then in terms of when it comes to acoustics, if you're sitting in a meeting room and you can hear the people next door to you, it's very frustrating and difficult. So you don't really know where to go, and people move around trying to find their own little private space. So acoustics. And then when it comes to, acoustics, lighting, storage, I would definitely say seating. You normally find people complain a lot about their seating, and they try and move chairs around the office when people are not looking. And you wouldn't think that it's an important thing, but some people think, oh, you know, I'll buy the 2,000 rand chair now. I'm going to make a little more money. I'll buy the 5,000 rand chair. But you need to take seating into account. The money you save in the long term will actually count a long way towards your money right now. And I would say electrical equipment. So we have a lot of specialized solutions that we spend a lot of time with the IT people incorporating power into desks. So when people sit down, they can literally just plug in, plug out, charge their phones, audio-visual equipment. If you take the time to do that properly, people won't be climbing under, trying to find a plug, things short-circuiting. So yeah, I would say acoustics, lighting, colors, storage, power, getting those like little 5 small things right. People will be comfortable, things will be accessible, everything will be lit properly, and you won't have unhappy staff.
Wow, I'd never even thought about some of the things you just mentioned, but it makes sense when you talk about it. It makes sense that people need to, and I think these days as well, people need a place where to charge their phone. Where yes. A few years ago, that wasn't an option. You had to get under the desk and plug it in or onto your laptop and all of this. But now to have a dedicated place to charge their phones just makes sense for the age of
phone takes up as much time as 5 smoke breaks these days.
True. Raghmah, when people talk about business, when you sit in front of your clients and so on, they talk about business. What is your definition of business?
So originally, when I was growing up, business was, you know, I'm going to study and I'm going to find a job. And when I eventually find a job, I'm going to impress my boss, get a promotion. We're going to make a couple of deals and, you know, he's going to teach me what he knows. And when I'm older, I'm going to be able to do what he does and maybe luckily take over the business with a couple of partners. And when I started getting into business, I sort of learned their ways and I saw, okay, so I'll maybe do business with the brother or the cousin and people start getting to know each other. And then I saw, you know, I maybe don't like the way people do business in Cape Town or Johannesburg. You know, there were a lot of deals that maybe didn't flow with me. And I started looking elsewhere. I started looking at business networks and things like that. And I started learning that business is different. You know, that's how I met you, in a network, in a business network. And I discovered that there's a different way. People empower people. People actually lend a hand. They actually use their skills to trade business with each other, the way our grandfathers used to do. You know, I bring you eggs, you give me fish, I give you a haircut. And then we all trade our services together and we all send each other our clients. And in so doing, when we hold hands, we can raise each other up. The way that we know business today is exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I think Raghmah, that is, as you say, that people back then, there was barter between them business-wise. And these days we should also collaborate all our knowledge and all our different skills that we have. Not necessarily to work together, but also to learn from each other. So that we can see, listen, yeah, but I'm struggling with this. Hey, that person has done that as well. And that was the solution. And I'm going to try this in my business as well. So speaking about that, how important do you think it is to be part of a community of entrepreneurs that you can learn from, that you can celebrate with, that that has the same mindset as you?
So definitely for me, when I started, I was all alone. I was like, here's Raghmah. Like, what do I do? I'm alone. I was employed. Number one, I was a colored woman in South Africa and a Muslim woman. So people looked at me like, you know, what are you doing? You're supposed to be modest. You're supposed to look for a husband and go get married and have a couple of kids, you know. Like, now I'm a woman in the construction industry, trying to run a business with no experience. So I literally went out and I started talking to people. What do you do? What do you do? Like, how did you do it? And as you do this, you start meeting, everybody has been there before. Everybody's tried this before. You find so many stories, and everyone started where I started. So the nice thing about a network is you discover that you are no different from everybody else. And when you see that and you feel it, it doesn't feel that big anymore. It doesn't feel that hard anymore. It starts feeling like you are just another person, and this is just you going through the motions. You just literally need to learn from people who have been there, and start listening. Open your eyes, write down everything you can, and people are there to literally hold your hand and help you. Business is not like we've been taught in school and college, where, oh, I need to struggle through this and struggle through that. Networks are there to put people together, because what we as young people are learning, older people who have done traditional business actually want to be a part of. You know, they are people that we can also help while they are busy helping us. Yeah. That is the strength of a network.
Yeah. Raghmah, you're very successful. You've built up an extremely successful company in a very short time space. Was it always a dream, or did you always want to be an entrepreneur, or how was it that you became this great entrepreneur?
I didn't actually.
Okay.
We grew up very poor. So I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. I didn't, having a business was never on my radar. I never ever thought that I could reach this part of my life. Because you grow up in a government school, you grow up in a government college, you take out a student loan. To me, this was an unattainable something I couldn't even aspire to, you know. I was like, I aspired to having a car and maybe having a house and getting a bond, and like a medical aid was exciting for me. And what happened is I was stuck in, you know, doing the numbers every month. And I'm like, my medical aid's not going to carry me. And what happens if I get a husband? And I can't pay a bond. And, you know, I looked at business as I wasn't happy with the way things were happening. And I looked at the people I was working with. My contractors were struggling. I looked at the way my clients were doing business. Being an architectural interior designer, I'm involved from the time the client moves in with every single one of my builders, my engineers, my architects. I see how the landlords do business. I see everything, and I see it from every angle, right through to the final product. And I was looking at all of this and thinking, you know, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be something else. And if I can see all of these people struggling, and I can see how to solve their problems, all I need to figure out is how I can help them solve their problems. So for me, it was like, it can't be that difficult. You know, the people are running businesses all around the world. I just need to go and find these people and ask questions. It's literally, it was that simple. You know, a good couple of years of spending time with the right people, and day by day, every day, Monday to Sunday, opening up books, attending webinars, going to networks, and finding and learning from people. So growing into a business was something I learned over a span of a couple of years, how to want to be a businesswoman. It was something that came with time, and the more I learned from people, the more I wanted, the more it became something I could achieve. And as I saw I can reach it, that's how I started reaching for wanting to be a businesswoman.
Yeah. So on that, and your story is phenomenal to listen to, but on that, a follow-up question from me, and it's probably a two-part question, is, do you think that your circumstances that you are in currently, or that you were in, play part in being successful, whatever your definition of success is? And how easy or difficult was it for you to transition from being an employee to being an entrepreneur?
So I think for the biggest part, being so poor that you can't even afford chicken in your food, I mean, it was horrendous. You know, I looked at my parents struggling, and credit was a means of just surviving every month, you know. So you would use the one credit card to pay off the other credit card so that we could, you know, buy clothes for school. And I looked at them and I said, you know what, I can't be like this. I need to somehow get out of my situation to help them. So that was get a job. And then when I was in a job, I'm like, okay, I can't beat inflation. So how am I going to retire? How am I going to get how am I going to get my own house? So then there was, okay, the next step, get out of that. And then I wasn't making enough money there, so I needed to get a job. So it was like, okay, get the next step, get out of that. So there was this constant drive of you need to get higher, you need to get better, you need to get more, because you are not going to survive. So I was in constant survival mode. In college, I literally slept on my friends' couches because my dad could not pick me up from college. There was no petrol. And then when I got into the business industry, there was there's no promotion here. There's no getting ahead. You cannot help people in your industry if you constantly stay employed. You are going to have to find a bank, find a business person, find someone to partner with. If you're going to help your construction workers, you are going to need to become self-employed. That's the only way. So my circumstances have driven me to the point that I am now. I believe being an entrepreneur, you need to have a purpose. You need to have a reason to get up every day. This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I thought that business was hard. I thought, doing my job was hard and being a project manager was hard on site. That's not hard. Not knowing where the money is coming from and having to invoice your clients and manage cash flow and have 4 employees, that is hard, If you don't have a reason that motivates you and drives you for the betterment of somebody else, entrepreneurship is not for you, I believe. It's like a duty that is instilled in me every single day to get up and go. It doesn't even feel like work for me anymore.
That's amazing, and I think that's so important. Is like you say, it doesn't feel like work anymore, but it feels like your duty. And I think, as entrepreneurs, we have a duty to make this world a better place because we're in it. Like I said, there's no promotions being an entrepreneur. Yeah. There's not like entrepreneur plus.
Silver, gold, platinum.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing like that. You need to do the hard grafts and leave this place in a better place or in a better state. But speaking about that, what is your definition then as success? What is your success definition? I know you're working on projects and you're finishing and you see this glamorous creation that you've created, but as a person and in your business, what is your definition of success?
So for me, success, I have some people ask me some days, Raghmah, what about children? Aren't you going to run off and have some of those? And I looked at them and I said, what is having children? I said, it's someone to rear that you can look at and go, this is somebody that I brought up and, I instilled knowledge in them and I raised them. And I look at my staff and I say, I'm grooming all of you to be managers of your own department. You are the ones that I'm raising right now. For me, success is being able to come in every day and see that the training that I give them is giving them so much fulfillment that they feel like they are powerful. That the jobs that they came from before where they were, they were demotivated and feeling like they were just being trodden on, when now they're coming, we laugh, 24/7. They're like, Raghmah, look at this. One of my staff came back this morning. She's like, look, Raghmah, put up the lights and the staircase and the this and the that. And I haven't even seen the job, but she's over the moon. For me, success is when you set out for the betterment of somebody, and they come back and they do 5 times more than you even expected they could. And when you see something in somebody that they can't even see in themselves, and for sure, this person is worth so much more. One of my staff, I took him off the street when he didn't have a job. He had a son. He was divorced. And I'm like, you know what? I know that you are so much better than this right now. You just can't see it. You just haven't met the right people. You just haven't been put in the right contact circles. And that's the thing. When you put in the right network circles and you see the right people, you talk to the right people and they show you the right side of life, it's just your perspective. Yeah. He's now running the compliance division of my company. He has a way with building compliance in the city of Cape Town that nobody else has. The grudge work that nobody else wants to do. And he runs it like nobody's business. He knows their dogs' names, their kids' names. They swap steaks at the braai, and they turn into these amazing, flourishing people. That for me is success. It's not how much money we're turning over. It's who everybody's becoming with us together.
It's probably the best definition of success that I've ever heard. So I congratulate you on that and for your passion of developing all these people, your employees, and making them better people. And like you said, let them see the greatness in them that they couldn't see themselves, and that's so phenomenal. If you could have a wish that any of our listeners had the power to grant, what would that be?
So for me, some of my wishes, and I wake up some days thinking, running a business gets so tough sometimes, and it's just because I run out of hours in a day. If I didn't have to sleep and I could be a vampire, I would. But it's running a business, there's the accounting side and the business side and the training side and the staff side and the client side, and everybody needs to be happy and running at 100%. So mentorship has always been a challenge for me. A lot of my business coaches and the networks and the people that I learn from and reading has all been from myself. So I've always paid for those things myself, and I've always looked for mentors who are willing to come on the journey with me. And I am so passionate about what I do. I mean, you can't keep me down. So if there's anyone out there who is willing to, send me some advice and listen when I've got some ideas to bounce with them, I'd really appreciate it. And then also the ventures that we are working on for unemployment to help women in the construction industry. Because women have this way of, they get involved in the beginning of a construction project when we're doing architecture and design, and all the meticulous detail that goes into drawing up schedules and drawings, and then right at the end when they need to clean the site, and again the meticulous detail that goes into cleaning and making sure there isn't a speck of dust when my client moves in. Yeah. Imagine I apply that to electrical and have beautiful wires pulled in and that plug is perfect. And imagine it's painted perfectly. Women have a way of looking and caring and taking time with things because they are carers and givers. I would love to see them merged into more fields of construction so that they also have a chance to get a better salary, work at higher paying jobs. And we have very strong ventures that we are busy on integrating, but that requires capital, it requires time, it requires business partners who are there with me, fighting hard and strong to help unemployment. And we are so passionate about what we do. If there's anyone who wants to come along for the journey, please get in touch with me.
Raghmah, thank you very much. Thanks for giving us a bit of your time, telling about your story, your background, your struggles, your successes, all these wonderful places that you've created for so many corporates. We really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Where can we get hold of you, your website address?
So that's www.vortexdesignsolutions.com.
Great. Going to hit you up, and all the successes to you, all the best to you, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Francois.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.